What if Sasuke chose his brother over the hidden leaf and decided to join the Akatsuki alongside Itachi? How differently would the story of Naruto play out? The night of the Uchiha massacre plays out the way it always does. Itachi, under the orders of Danzo and the village elders, cuts down his own clan to stop a coup and prevent the civil war it would ignite, carrying a weight no one should ever have to carry, planning to bear it alone until it killed him. But at the very end of that night, standing over his broken little brother, Itachi makes a choice that rewrites everything that followed in the original story. Instead of leaving Sasuke behind to grow up alone and consumed by hatred, he takes him. The two surviving Uchiha vanish from the leaf together, and from that single decision, an entirely different story unfolds. Itachi is still the same tragic figure at his core, a boy who murdered his family to protect the village, and the brother he loved more than his own life. But taking Sasuke complicates everything he planned. He cannot undo what he did, and he cannot fully explain it without endangering the very future he sacrificed everything to secure. So he raises Sasuke with the truth held carefully at arm's length, shielding him from the full horror of what really happened, while keeping him close, safe, and far from the path of revenge that would have consumed him in the leaf. It is a different kind of sacrifice than the one Itachi originally chose, and in some ways a harder one, because now he has to live beside the brother he wronged and carry the secret every single day. Sasuke grows up beside his brother rather than alone in an empty compound, and that changes the entire shape of who he becomes. Instead of a childhood built around hatred and the need for vengeance, his is shaped by Itachi's presence, his discipline, his quiet wisdom, and the love hidden beneath his calm exterior. There are quiet moments between them across those years on the run that the original story never got to have. A fire in some hidden place far from any village. Itachi teaching his brother something small. The rare instant when the weight Itachi carries splits just enough for the closeness underneath to show. It is never a normal life, and Itachi never fully lowers his guard. But it is a life with someone in it. And for Sasuke, that makes all the difference. He's still marked by the tragedy, still carries grief and questions that have no easy answers. But he is not the isolated, revenge-obsessed boy of the original story. He has the one person who mattered most to him. And that single fact anchors him where canon Sasuke had nothing to hold on to. Itachi's work keeps him tied to the Akatsuki, the organization he infiltrated as a spy for the leaf even after leaving the village behind. Raising a child inside that world is a constant, dangerous balancing act. Itachi shields his brother from the worst of the organization, its ambitions, its monsters, and its designs on the tailed beasts, while using his position to keep them both alive and to continue quietly serving the village that branded him a villain. Sasuke grows up on the very edges of the most dangerous organization in the world, protected by a brother walking a razor's edge to keep him from ever being pulled into its darkness. Rather than seeking power from Orochimaru the way he did in the original story, Sasuke is trained by Itachi directly, one of the most gifted shinobi the Uchiha clan have ever produced. Under his brother's guidance, Sasuke developed his Sharingan, his technique, and his understanding of what real strength actually means. The training is rigorous and shaped by Itachi's hard-won wisdom, and Sasuke grows into a formidable shinobi built on his brother's teachings instead of on a Sanin's corruption and a lifetime of hatred. As Sasuke matures into a capable shinobi at his brother's side, the two of them eventually cross paths with the very village they left behind. In this timeline, Team 7 was never the trio everyone knows. With Sasuke gone from the leaf since the night of the massacre, Naruto came up without an Uchiha rival on his squad, growing alongside Sakura and Kakashi, and his own fierce drive rather than in the shadow of Sasuke. So when a mission tied to the Akatsuki movements brings a leaf team into the brothers' path, and Kakashi and Naruto come face to face with Itachi and Sasuke, it is the first time these two ever truly meet. For Naruto, it is a glimpse of a life that could have been. An Uchiha his own age, powerful and composed, standing on the opposite side, a rival he never had. For Sasuke, it is his first real encounter with the village he had taken from, and the boy who, in another life, would have been his closest friend. Neither side fully understands the other's situation. The leaf seeing two rogue Uchiha and Akatsuki threats, while the brothers walk their careful hidden line, and the tension breaks into a fight. The clash is intense. Naruto and Sasuke test each other for the first time. Two prodigies from opposite paths. Naruto's raw power and unpredictable style meeting the precise control technique Itachi drilled into his brother. Neither of them able to put the other away. Their fight is a collision of everything they each are, and some part of both of them recognizes it, even in the middle of trying to win. Meanwhile, Kakashi faces Itachi in a confrontation between his own Sharingan and the genius of the Uchiha, who once left the village a mystery. A battle Kakashi cannot win and knows it. Itachi's genjutsu and speed forcing him onto the back foot from the first exchange. The fight is fierce and revealing, each side taking the measure of the other, but it does not end in death. Itachi has no desire to kill Leaf Shinobi, he is still secretly protected, and when the moment comes to disengage, he takes it, pulling Sasuke back before the clash can turn fatal. All of them walk away alive. The encounter leaves its mark though. Naruto and Sasuke each carry the memory of the other afterward. A strange and unspoken recognition between two people who, in another version of events, were meant to be brothers in all but blood. It plants a thread that lingers as the larger story builds. As Sasuke grows older, the question he has carried his whole life refuses to stay buried. Why did Itachi spare him? Why did his brother carry so much guilt beneath the calm surface? Why do they live in the shadows, tied to an organization Itachi so clearly despises? The truth Itachi has protected him from becomes harder and harder to keep hidden, until finally finally, the moment comes when Sasuke learns everything. The coup, Danzo, and the elders, the impossible choice forced on his brother. The reality that Itachi was never a villain, but the greatest hero and martyr their clan ever produced. But unlike the original story where Sasuke learned that only after Itachi was already dead, and the grief twisted him toward madness and darkness, this Sasuke learns it with his brother alive and standing right in front of him. The revelation does not break him into vengeance. It carries the brothers together against the real enemy. With Itachi finally able to set down a burden he carries alone for so long and share it with the one person he sacrificed everything to protect. Where canon turned this truth into the fuel for Sasuke's descent, here it becomes the foundation of something the brothers face together. With the truth in the open and the brothers united, their attention turns to the man responsible for all of it. Danzo, the architect of the massacre, the Shadow, who ordered Itachi to destroy his own family. Together, the two Uchiha move against him. Where the original Sasuke hunted Danzo alone and consumed by hatred, here the brothers confront him side by side, with Itachi alive to face the man who ruined both their lives. Danzo is no easy target. He is a veteran of the shadows, with Shisui's stolen Sharingan grafted into his arm, and the forbidden Izanagi granting him the power to cheat death again and again. But he has never faced anything like the two surviving Uchiha fighting as one. Itachi, who knows Danzo's tricks better than anyone alive, reads the Izanagi and its limits, calling out the pattern, while Sasuke presses the assault with everything his brother trained into him. Together they overwhelm him, Itachi's genius and Sasuke's power converging, forcing Danzo to burn through every one of his stolen lives until there is nothing left to save him. The two brothers gang up on the man behind the Uchiha tragedy and defeat him completely. A reckoning delivered together for the true villain who cost them everything. The massacre is finally answered not by a broken avenger acting alone, but by both brothers standing shoulder to shoulder. With Danzo dealt with and the truth no longer a secret between them, Itachi has no reason left to keep playing the spy. For years he walked the razor's edge inside the Akatsuki, serving the leaf in the shadows while shielding his brother from the organization's darkness. But that balancing act is over now. The brothers step out of the shadows and turn on the Akatsuki openly, and the first to stand in their path is the one closest to Itachi of all, his own partner, Kisame Hoshigaki. Kisame has never faced Itachi as an enemy, and he has certainly never faced both brothers at once. Itachi, no longer hiding his true strength or holding anything back to maintain his cover, fights with the full genius that made him a legend. His Sharingan reading Kisame's every move, his Genjutsu and his fire techniques pressing the swordsman relentlessly. Besides him, Sasuke fights with everything Itachi trained into him. The two Uchiha moving in perfect concert, each covering the other, their combined assault giving Kisame no room to bring his monstrous stamina to bear. Samehada hungers for their chakra, but the brothers never give it a chance to feed, overwhelming Kisame with a coordination and a level of power he cannot match alone. In the end, the swordsman falls to the two brothers fighting as one. And Kisame is only the beginning. With their break from the Akatsuki complete, Itachi and Sasuke tear through the organization that hunted the tailed beasts and threatened the world, dismantling its members one after another as a duo that no one is prepared for. Where the original story needed teams and sacrifices to bring these threats down across separate desperate battles, the two Uchiha cut through them together, their immense combined strength making them one of the most dangerous forces the shinobi world has ever seen. The organization that once gave Itachi shelter as a spy becomes the enemy the brothers systematically break apart. There is one more loose thread from their past still waiting in the shadows. In the original story, Orochimaru's entire late arc revolved around Sasuke, luring him from the leaf, planting the curse mark, grooming him as the next vessel for his immortality. In this timeline, none of that ever happened, because Sasuke left with Itachi the night of the massacre and was never within the Sanin's reach. But Orochimaru's hunger never faded, and the two people he covets most in this world are the very brothers now moving through the shadows together. Itachi, whose body he once tried and failed to claim during their time in the Akatsuki, and Sasuke, the Uchiha vessel he never got his hands on. So, when the brothers' path finally crosses his, it is a confrontation years in the making. Orochimaru sees in the two of them everything he ever wanted, and he comes at them with every twisted technique in his arsenal. The forbidden jutsu and the serpentine immortality, and the sheer cunning that made him one of the most dangerous shinobi to ever live. But he has badly misjudged what he is facing. This is not the isolated, desperate Sasuke he could have manipulated in the original story, and Itachi knows the Sanin's tricks better than almost anyone, having watched him from inside the Akatsuki and repelled his attempt to steal his body once before. The brothers fight him together, Itachi's genius neutralizing every angle Orochimaru tries, while Sasuke brings the power his brother forged in him. The man who built his entire existence around stealing the strength of others finds himself completely outmatched by two Uchiha fighting as one. The Sanin who spent the original story pulling Sasuke into darkness is, in this timeline, put down by the very brother he tried to corrupt and the brother he tried to become, never getting the vessel he craved, undone by the two Uchiha he could never have. By the time Naruto and the brothers cross paths again, everything has changed. Sasuke is no longer a rogue Uchiha walking a mysterious line. He is a shinobi with clarity and purpose, far stronger than the first time he faced Naruto. When the two of them clash again, the fight is on a completely different level. Both have grown, but Sasuke has come into his full strength under Itachi's training, and this time he holds the edge. The fight is fierce and personal. The two of them push to recognize how much the other has grown since their first meeting, where their first clash was two strangers testing each other. This one is a genuine battle between two of the strongest of their generation. Naruto comes at him with everything, Kurama's chakra roaring around him, clones flooding the field, technique after technique, and Sasuke meets all of it with a Sharingan reading his movements and the flawless precision his brother forged in him, turning aside the assault and answering it with his own. The exchange escalates until the ground itself is torn apart between them. But when Sasuke finally gains the upper hand and has Naruto beaten, he does not take a killing blow the way an enemy would. He spares him, and in that moment, he lets something slip. A hint that he and Itachi were never truly enemies of the Leaf, that there is far more to their story than the village believes, and that the real enemy is something else entirely. He leaves Naruto alive, and carrying that revelation, the seed of an alliance planted. For Naruto, it reframes everything he thought he knew about the two Uchiha brothers. For Sasuke, sparing the boy who could have been his closest friend in another life is the first step toward the two of them standing on the same side. When the Fourth Shinobi War arrives, the groundwork laid at the second encounter pays off, and the brothers stand with the allied shinobi forces rather than against them. Itachi and Sasuke enter the war as a fierce unified duo. Two Uchiha fighters shoulder to shoulder, their Sharingan and their shared strength making them one of the most dangerous forces on the entire battlefield. And they helped the alliance in a major way. Where the war teetered on the edge of collapse in the original story, the brothers turned key moments in the alliance's favor. Itachi's genius and mastery, his Susanoo and his ability to see through and dismantle the enemy's greatest tricks, combined with Sasuke's raw power to break through threats that would have overwhelmed anyone else. Against the reanimated dead and against the chaos of the war itself, the two of them are a spearhead the alliance desperately needed. Naruto fights alongside them. Now the three of them united where in another life they were divided, and the difference the brothers make is felt across the entire battlefield. The duo that the Leaf once hunted becomes one of the greatest assets the shinobi world has in its darkest hour. As the war reaches its peak, the deadliest threats emerge, and this time they are met by a combination the original story never had. Naruto, Sasuke, and Itachi standing together against the forces that nearly ended the world. And there is something in this fight the original never got to show. Itachi Uchiha had full strength. In canon, every time Itachi fought, he was concealing a terminal illness, coughing blood, holding back and burning through borrowed time. This Itachi, taken from the village before that fate could claim him, and kept alive across all these years, has none of that. For the first time, the shinobi world sees what Itachi Uchiha truly is when he is not dying. When Obito takes the power of the Ten Tails and ascends to a level that once required the entire alliance to challenge, the three of them meet him head on. Naruto brings the full might of Kurama's chakra. Sasuke brings the raw power Itachi trained into him. And Itachi brings the mind that has outmaneuvered impossible odds his entire life. Reading Obito's movements, seeing through his phasing, coordinating the assault in ways only he could. His Susanoo rise is complete and unwavering. The Totsuka blade and the Yata mirror wielded without the toll that once nearly killed him to summon them. Where lone fighters fell before the Ten Tails Jin Cherokee, this trio presses him relentlessly, each covering the other's weaknesses. And together they break through the godlike power Obito believed made him untouchable. And when Madara enters the war at his full monstrous strength, the legend who treated the alliance as strongest as minor obstacles, he finds himself facing something even he did not account for. Two fully realized Uchiha and the strongest Jinchuriki alive, fighting as one. From the first exchange, Madara can tell this is different from anything the war has thrown at him. He brings out the full breadth of what made him a legend. His perfect Susanoo rising over the battlefield like a mountain, meteors torn from the sky and hurled down. His complete mastery of every art and the overwhelming Sharingan that has ended thousands of lives. But for every technique he unleashes, the three of them have an answer. Itachi stands against him at his true peak, his complete Susanoo rising to meet Madara's, and matching arts the legend believed no living Uchiha could rival. His Genjutsu probes for openings, his precision never wavering, his impossible tactical mind reading the flow of the fight, and directing the trio a step ahead of Madara's every move. Beside him, Sasuke fights with everything his brother forged in him. Their two Sharingan working in perfect concert, one reading Madara's intentions while the other strikes, the brothers moving as a single unit, built from years of training side by side, and through the center of it all is Naruto, Kurama's chakra roaring around him, his overwhelming power, the anvil to the brothers' precision, absorbing blows that would erase anyone else, and answering them with force enough to stagger even Madara. The battle reshapes the ground for miles, the three of them pressing an assault that never lets Madara seize control, the way he did against everyone else in the war. Each time he reaches for a trump card, Itachi has already seen it coming, Sasuke is already moving to counter it, and Naruto is already there to weather the worst of it. The brothers who were meant to be shattered by the Uchiha tragedy instead stand together at full strength against the greatest of their clan, and with Naruto beside them, they wear the legend down and pushing past his limits. What took the entire shinobi world to barely contain in the original story is met here by three shinobi who refuse to break and who together prove stronger than the man who thought himself untouchable. With Obito broken and Madara pushed past his limits, the real mastermind finally shows its hand, and this time it does not get the chance it did in the original story. Behind Madara, behind Obito, behind the entire war stood Black Zetsu, the will of Kaguya Otsutsuki, patiently manipulating every event across generations toward the resurrection of its mother. In canon, this betrayal blindsided everyone, and Madara was turned into the vessel for Kaguya's return, before anyone understood what was happening. But between Itachi's genius, Naruto's awareness, and Sasuke's strength, the trio sees the betrayal coming and moves before it can spring. Itachi's mind pieces together the manipulation. Naruto and Sasuke bring the overwhelming power to act on it, and together they expose and destroy Black Zetsu before Kaguya can ever be reanimated. The threat that nearly ended existence itself is cut off at the root. The ancient plot undone by the very people it tried to use as pawns. With the war won and the true enemy destroyed, the last thing left is the truth itself. The village that hunted the two Uchiha brothers as rogues and threats finally learns what really happened the night the clan died. That Itachi was never a villain, but a hero who sacrificed everything under Danzo's orders, and that the brothers had been carrying that burden in the shadows all along. Itachi's name, blackened for so long, is cleared at last. The shinobi who was forced to become the Leaf's greatest villain is recognized instead as one of its greatest heroes, and the fallout reshapes how the entire village sees the Uchiha, the massacre, and the true cost of the secrets Danzo buried. For the first time since the night they fled, the brothers are no longer fugitives. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more Naruto content.